The largest rat in the world, weighing more than 2.2 pounds. A 16-foot-long alligator walking around the golf course. The largest gorilla in captivity, with a unique appearance, and other giants. In this episode, you'll see amazing animals breaking all the records. People have always been interested in primates. In the past, people noticed that they behaved in very intelligent and unusual ways, which made them interesting. Nowadays, there are a number of theories that we are descended from them. Yes, and their behavior still strongly attracts people. But there are some species that are interesting for completely different reasons. For example, a giant gorilla named Snowflake. He became known in 1964. The thing is, he was an albino. The light-skinned Snowflake lived about 2 years in captivity, which is already surprising because albinos are not just unique creatures, but also those who have a lot of health problems, let alone their main problem, bright color. It was the conspicuous coloration that made Snowflake vulnerable to humans. He was caught and transported to Barcelona. In the Central Zoo of Barcelona, Snowflake became a favorite not only for visitors, but also for the entire staff. He was unique not only for his unnatural white skin and fur, but also for the color of his eyes. In albinos, all parts of the body are white, and the eyes are no exception. Snowflake, on the other hand, had unnatural blue eyes. But his life could not do without illnesses. Thus, in the last years of his existence, he got skin cancer which could not be cured. What kind of pets do you know? Well, dogs, right? Cats. That's kind of the main pets. And then there are rats. However, not like giant Bosavi woolen rats from Papua New Guinea, which people stumbled upon quite by accident. They were filming a documentary called Lost Land of the Volcano, where they talked about the active 18 volcanoes and accidentally noticed an unusual animal in the area of filming. It turned out to be one of the largest rats in history. Measurements showed that the length of the body of the caught rat, from the nose to the tip of the tail, was 32 inches. The weight was about 3.3 pounds, which is also a lot for a rat. Outside, the body of the rat is covered with thick, silvery brown fur. As scientists believe, this cover allows the animal to survive in cold and wet conditions inside the volcano crater. No one has yet given the rats a scientific name, but it will probably be associated with the volcanoes near which they were found. Would you like to have such a rat as a pet? Let me know in the comments. Giant alligator. Okay guys, this video is no longer cute or funny. It's dangerous because it shows people filming a giant alligator walking on a golf course. It happened in Florida, although I thought it was only real in fairy tales or movies. As if nothing had happened, this 16-foot-long alligator came out on the golf course and calmly, valiantly walked along the road somewhere to the side. To say that the witnesses were stunned and speechless is an understatement. I wonder how much food such a big creature needs every day. It probably eats several deer a day, doesn't it? The people behind the camera, after the predator left, ran with the footage to the owner of the golf club. And do you know what he said? It turns out that this giant often walks here, and everyone is so accustomed to it that they made it almost a symbol of their golf club. Would you want to play where this predator could suddenly appear? Personally, I wouldn't. Pigzilla. I think I know which animal can beat that alligator. Only Pigzilla, or a huge wild boar, can defeat it. The incident occurred in Hong Kong. Parents took their children to school and, returning, witnessed the actions of a huge boar that crawled out into the street. The boar was eating something from the garbage bins and was not shy of anyone. The formidable animal was so engrossed in the process that it didn't care about the others. According to their local newspaper, no one ever found out the sex of the wild boar. It was probably a male. This is evidenced by its size. Locals are sure that such desperate behavior of the wild boar was caused by hunger. In search of food, these animals come to human dwellings and even eat crops on farms. But now the question arises, is it safe? There's a school nearby. Kids are running around. You never know what can happen. I would definitely bring this to the end, and since there's a forest with wild animals nearby, it should either be fenced off or some special feeder should be put out for the forest dwellers away from the school. Although, I don't know. Sometimes I think that no one and nothing can stop animals at all. If they want to visit people, they will. And this elephant seal on the lawn of an ordinary man in the Chilean province of Asen is the perfect proof of that. It seemed that these creatures can live only in the water, well, or on the shore nearby. But to get this far on their short flippers, just pushing themselves forward, it's some Herculean effort. But in this case, I have a logical question. What's it all for? What was the point of the actions of the elephant seal? It's unlikely that it came to visit its old sailor friend in the hope that he would give it some fresh fish. Not surprisingly, this incident has sown panic in the minds of the residents and made them think about the coming cataclysm or something else terrible. Allegedly, the animals sense the approaching danger and go crazy. Can you explain this behavior of this abnormal elephant seal? Share your thoughts in the comments. Oh yeah, I forgot to clarify. In the end, the giant was fine. People from the relevant services arrived at the site, stretched a special fence, and poured water on the elephant seal. Thus, it was guided step by step into the natural environment until it submerged underwater again. What an encounter! If at the sight of that elephant seal you suddenly thought it was the largest animal in the world, you were wrong. Well, you were right about the elephant, but the word seal was a bit redundant. The largest elephants in the world are still common elephants. African bush elephants, to be more precise. These are mammals of the African elephant family, one of which the people in the following video encountered. They were traveling, exploring the area, and didn't even think to encounter any animals. Suddenly, it came out to meet them. The elephant made the car seem like a child's toy. Science says that the length of their body usually varies from 20 to 23 feet, and the height reaches 13 feet. The average weight of females is 3 tons. Males, on the other hand, are almost twice as heavy, weighing about 5 tons. Of course, people had no measuring instruments at hand, but we can still say that the giant corresponded to the maximum size of elephants in nature. Fortunately, the giant was calm and even friendly. It walked past the cars, turned around and walked slowly deeper into the savannah. Hit the like button if at some point you also thought that it would decide to climb into the car or interact with people in some way. But fortunately, nothing like that happened. Next, we have the cane toad, or as it's also called, the marine toad. Initially, this amphibian lived only in Central and South America, but for now its habitat has expanded significantly. The cane toad can be found in Australia, on many islands of the Pacific Ocean, and even in Japan. People helped the toad to settle around the world, using its voracity and unpretentiousness in food to fight with agricultural pests on sugarcane plantations. Apparently, these toads were allowed too much because how else to explain the emergence of such a large individual? This record breaker was found in Australia, and according to the first analysis, just by eye, it's one of the largest cane toads in the world, as it weighs about 6.6 pounds. The expedition workers jokingly named the individual they found Toadzilla. As you've already realized, they came across it not by chance. There was a special mission in which people were exploring the forests of Australia for something unusual and interesting. As they drove from point to point, someone blocked their way. And no, it wasn't a toad, it was an ordinary snake. So while people were waiting for it to slither through, that very huge toad jumped out. And from the very first seconds of its appearance, it attracted the attention of the people around it. Atlas moth. What a lovely name, isn't it? It is, by the way, the name of one of the largest moths in the whole world. The Atlas moth inhabits southern countries and has many subspecies. One of the nicknames of the moth is the Prince of Darkness. It got its second name because it flies exclusively after dark. What do you think of the idea of replacing Batman's bats with Atlas moths? I think it'd be cool. Why? They fly exclusively at night too, and they're also much larger and potentially dangerous. As for the individual caught by the man in this video, it, like its relatives, has a noticeable curve in terms of shape. It vaguely resembles the head of a snake, which scares away enemies. Its coloring is also attractive. It combines yellow, red, pinkish, and even chocolate colors. The wingspan of such a creature reached at least 10 inches. Would you also like to hold such a giant moth in your hands? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which animal's size impressed you the most. Thank you for watching, and see you later.